Hello and welcome to my channel. Here I review movies and television shows. Today's topic is the new film Wicked. It's a musical adventure film reimagining the world of The Wizard of Oz. John M. Chu directed the film, which stars Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, and Jeff Goldblum. Wicked is a theater kid's dream and everyone else's nightmare. It's a play in movie form with nothing but singing. The story is a shallow reimagining of the classic Odd Man Out story with the Wicked Witch of the West at its core. It takes a ton of tired cliches, a few good singers, a bunch of tightly choreographed dances, and mashes it all together until you're left with a product that looks and sounds okay but feels empty inside. A husk that desperately longs for a soul. Okay, let's start with the film's strong point. The soundtrack is what you expect from a musical of this renown. Big, over-the-top, dramatic songs that allow the characters to bare their souls. The characters sing pretty much the entire time. The songs have a fantasy adventure kind of feel to them and closely follow the emotional journey. The songs are directly relevant to the story and often drive it. The music is always accompanied by a big dance number as well. If you are a fan of the musical, the film has most of the same songs. Film versions are a little more produced than the live versions, but they still sound great. The cast did a fantastic job. Next up is the acting. The cast comes in two types: background dancers and people who get a song. The background dancers perform admirably, dancing in old-fashioned dresses and robes to match the world's aesthetics. Most of the songs go to the lead actors, but all of the singers in this film did a great job. Each of them performed difficult song and dance numbers and take center stage. The performances are classic-style musical numbers where the character sings out their feelings and the leads get to do some emotional work at the same time. When it comes to the leads, Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo do a wonderful job of the singing and dancing parts of the role. They even have decent emotional moments like the dance scene at the party. But the film never lets them go all the way with the emotional journey. The story hints at big emotions. The songs even kind of describe them, but the characters never actually given the chance to express them outside of song. Inside the song, the actors are focusing too much on the singing part to really delve into the emotional depths you want from a story like this. There might come a moment in the next film where all the emotions they've built up actually get released, but in this film it felt like a letdown. The visual journey for Wicked is a CGI fest that gets the story across, but not in a way that you'll remember. It takes place in the wonderful land of Oz, and even brings back a lot of the staple imagery from it. There's flying monkeys, a yellow brick road, and we even see Dorothy and her merry band of misfits traveling along it at one point. The journey is a series of musical numbers with little connective scenes in between to dump all the exposition into. The musical numbers use a lot of different background actors and have complex choreography. They look good and sound awesome. The problem with it is the lack of lighting and the overuse of CGI. Throughout the film, it's like the characters are standing in an unlit room with just a crack of moonlight breaking through the window. You can hardly see their expressions, and the background starts to look fuzzy because of it too. As for the CGI, literally every background, every animal, all of the magic, and even some of the people are fake. They used it so often and so much that the film starts to look more like an animation than a real film. The story is the biggest problem with the film. I'm not a big fan of the play or its story, but it at least plays out as one long piece. The film cuts the story into two parts, and this first part is all set up and no reward. It spends most of its time explaining the story to you in long exposition monologues or giving it to you through song and dance. By the end, you have all these expectations that go nowhere. The story also doesn't do a good job of fleshing out its characters. It spends time rushing through all of the exposition and trying to fit in 8,000 musical numbers and doesn't actually spend much time with any of the characters or the problems they go through. A good example of this is the character arc for Elphaba and Glinda. The two of them start as rivals and then become friends after a certain event. The whiplash you get from these two women meeting, becoming hated rivals, and then blossoming into best friends will have you ready to sue the studio. As far as excitement goes, this film has plenty of high-octane moments in the musical numbers. The problem is that they lose their effectiveness with the overuse. Personally, I found Wicked to be a shell of what I expected. It had some decent singing and dancing, but the story at the center is so trope-heavy and cliché that I have a hard time believing this is so popular. It's not an original concept, and it isn't trying anything new. It basically felt like watching a Disney film, but not quite. As for a rating, I'd give Wicked a 4 out of 10. Remember, these are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye-bye!